Everybody loves to talk about how great real estate is and how much money you can make with it. Today, I'm going to share with you guys the failures and obstacles that come along with real estate and how that went down on my first deal. As an investor, you're going to come across a lot of problems and obstacles. Your job is going to be to solve them. The bigger the obstacle, the bigger the paycheck. One of my big mistakes was not hiring a professional home inspector. Because I didn't do that, I came across 3 issues that I should have known about before I closed on the house. The first issue was mice. Me and my grandfather started remodeling the bathroom in the basement. We lifted the floor up. We noticed that there was water damage on the subfloor, so we had to take all of that out, and what we saw underneath the subfloor was a bunch of mouse crap. It was about a couple of days worth of cleaning up with vacuums, brooms, masks, gloves, and then we had to find out where these mice were coming from. So we found out it was from the garage through the little bottom gap area because the garage doors had become so old, and we saw that they had chewed at the wood and all that. So what we needed to do was replace the garage doors, which cost us $2,500. We needed to put dryer sheets down to deter them because apparently they don't like the scent of lavender. And then thirdly, put down mouse traps to see if there was any more activity through there. So after we did all that, we cleaned it up, we remodeled the bathroom. I was like, okay, great, we finished that problem. And then we discovered there was electrical issues with the house. That's number 2. As we started flicking some light switches on and off, we noticed there was some units that weren't working. The ceiling fan wasn't working in the bedroom, we had some lights flickering, some really weird things going on, and we noticed that the wiring was chewed up by the mice, and some of that was behind the wall, so it was kind of hard to get at. But I wanted to save some money because we already were a lot over budget because of this whole mouse issue. So I tried to fix the electrical issues myself. I'm not a professional, so I wasted a bunch of time because I was not able to solve the issue. We ended up hiring a professional to get it done, and he solved the issue in a matter of a couple hours. The third issue was mold. And if you know anything about mold, it starts from a water source or some sort of moisture. So mold really wasn't the big issue. What the issue was the leakage. There was leaks in the pipes in the basement, and specifically in the garage. So I had to find out how to fix those leaks, number 1. And number 2, I had to replace those old pieces of drywall that had a bunch of mold on it. So I did that, and then I had to repaint the garage, and I actually used a special mold killer paint to help with that process, but that threw us back in time and a lot of money as well. So I thought this was all enough for my first property. I mean, I already got way into more than I thought. So we go up to the kitchen, and now we're fixing up some things in the kitchen. One of those things is we took the hood, the vent hood from the kitchen down to replace it. As I take it off, a bunch of acorns fall on my head and all over the kitchen floor. Acorns that squirrels were basically keeping stuffed in the attic over the winter. So we had a squirrel issue and a bunch of acorns everywhere. The big lesson learned here is make sure you hire a professional to do things that you're not an expert at. I would have saved myself a ton of time had I just gotten the inspector from the beginning. And if the issues were that big, it might have helped me to make a better decision to not have bought the property if it was going to be that big of a problem. Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below any questions you have. I'd be happy to answer them. Stick around for part 2 where I talk about the business lessons I learned from the pandemic.